Welcome back to the channel, guys. Drew here, and we are going to dive into the 11 biggest mistakes that nearly every new host makes when they join the platform. If you're a veteran, you're going to look back and be like, yep. But if you're a new host, some of these, by eliminating these mistakes, can save you thousands on your bottom line and really expedite your growth as a successful host in the business. So let's jump in. All right, let's start with the beginning, the easy ones. And to be honest, a lot of my recent content has been really geared towards hosts who have been already successfully profitable and already, very successful hosts. And basically, the content we've been putting out is things to just make you that much more profitable or even more profitable as a host. But I do not want to forget the many of you out there that are brand new to the business. Maybe this is your first year in the business or just, learning the business. And I'm going to give you my list. Now, there's other lists out there, but this is my top 11 mistakes that most new hosts make. And let's start with the easy one. And number one is they are too attached to their cars. And this is an easy one because this will really determine if Turo is for you. If you're the kind of person where, that car is your baby, don't put it on the platform. It's not going to end well, I promise you. These are going to be rental vehicles, and they're going to get bumped, they're going to get scratched, people are not going to take care of it the way that you would take care of your car. And so you cannot get too emotionally attached to the cars. The cars are assets. They serve a purpose, and it's okay to buy cars that you like. In fact, virtually every single vehicle that I own, I purchase it because either I like it or it's something that I'm not. I wouldn't mind driving around for a day or two. And a lot of times I do. If a lot of cars are rented out, I maybe get stuck with one of my cheaper vehicles, but it's a car that I enjoy, or it's not, it's not the worst car around to drive around with. So I think you should buy cars that you like. I think you should buy, it goes along with enjoying being a part of the Turo business is having cars that you wouldn't be able to have otherwise, and cars that you like and you enjoy and the style that you like, but do not get attached to the cars. Number two, and they don't read the terms of service and the TOS. So important. You're learning a business. You're investing in a business. There's huge consequences and huge liability issues of not reading through Turo's terms to know what you can do, what you can't do. And it really can, this is an easy business to start out and just kind of wing it as you go, and not realizing that one mistake could in the event of a total loss or a major accident, can be the difference of Turo fixing your vehicle or replacing your vehicle or paying out your vehicle, and you losing all the profit that you've lost in your first 3-4 months in the business. So make sure you read through the TOS. Make sure you understand the Turo's rules that they have. And some of the big mistakes that people make is not checking out to the primary driver. Not checking people's licenses. I don't know how many guests that I've checked in. This is their 4th, 5th rental on the Turo platform, and they say, I've never had to show my driver's license, or I've never had to do that, or I'm sending my brother to pick up the car, or I'm doing this. And guys, listen, this can be a problem. If you give the car out and you don't check the license and you don't give it to the primary driver, or you don't document on a remote check-in that it's the proper guess by a selfie holding the license and document that it's going to the right person, well, this can be a disaster when it comes to a major accident or a total loss of your vehicle. So please know the rules. Other ones, listing cars that aren't allowed on the platform. You can't rent rent a vehicle that's already been in a total loss. You can't rent a rebranded vehicle. You can't rent a vehicle that's over 9 passengers. Understand the rules that Turo sets, because those are the things that they're going to abide by when they go to pay out major claims. If you follow all the rules and the letter of the law when it comes to that, you'll never have an issue with payouts typically. So number 3 is they don't add trackers. This is a need in this business. Adding a tracker so you know where your vehicles are, it can really lower your stress level. I recommend Bouncies. I think they're the best out there, but there's lots of other ones that you can use. But Turo has limited control in getting your car back when it doesn't come back on time, or when, God forbid, somebody has stole the car, just decided they don't need to return it to you. So the other thing to realize is that bad people target new hosts. They're not going to target a host that's got 500 rentals or hundreds of rentals, because we're going to spot those people and they're going to know they can't get away with some of the foolishness. So, install trackers on your cars. First thing you do, you get the car, or once you know you're going to buy a car, order the trackers, because sometimes it takes a couple weeks to come in. Get them installed in the car and use them. It gives you peace of mind. You know where your car's at. You know when it leaves and when it comes back, and that's so important in this business. Number four is they check their trackers too much. So new hosts, they install trackers, and then all of a sudden they want to know, where their vehicle is. And look, it's 1:10 in the morning and they're going to this here. Well, what store is that? And look, that stuff will drive you crazy. You don't need the trackers to follow all your cars all around. Really, the only reason you have the trackers is so you know when the car's coming back, and maybe sometimes when it's going out if you're doing remote check-in. Don't worry about it unless the car doesn't come back, or then you know where it's at. One exception is if you have a higher end car like a C8 or like a high-end sports car, or any type of a high-end sports car, or sometimes it's good to check the trackers to see how fast. I like to find out in that first few hours what's the fastest they've gone in that car, and that'll tell me a lot about if this guy's going to be a problem, and I can text them or notify them, hey, I'm getting notices that you're going 110, 120 miles an hour. I just want to let you know, slow it down a little bit. So that's a reason to check the tracker, but this tracking all your customers, stop it. That's weird. It's creepy. That's creepy, and let your renters do what they need to do. It's none of your business, and only worry about it if the car's not coming back on time. And the fifth mistake that many new hosts make is they overpay for their cars. And usually this is not the first car. Usually this is the second, third, or fourth car. They have 1 or 2 cars in the platform, and it's bringing in all this money, and so they get excited and they go out and they start buying number 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 cars, and they overpay for the cars. If I've got to wait to find a good deal on a car, I need to buy a car $2,000 to $3,000 under what the book value of the car is, and that's the goal. And if you don't have MMR or different ways to calculate that, you can use Car Gurus and just find the lowest cost vehicles, and just be patient until you can find a good deal, until you can find a underpriced vehicle, because buying a vehicle overpriced, even if it's a hot vehicle, paying way over sticker for a vehicle, and even if it's a hot vehicle, it puts you at risk right from the get-go, and it really limits your upside on how much profit you can bring in on that vehicle. Number 6, the number 6 mistake that many hosts makes is underpaying for cars. And I say underpaying for cars. What I mean by that is purchasing cheap cars, super cheap cars, but cars that are going to be problems. And these are cars that are going to have mechanical problems. These are cars that are going to have customer service problems. They're going to be breaking down. They're going to have lights that are coming on, check engine lights and tire lights, and issue vehicles, and problems that are going to get the vehicle unlisted. And I always recommend, if you find a really, really cheap car, ask yourself, if I spent $2,000 more, how much better of a vehicle could I get? And could I get a vehicle that will last me much longer? Because remember, any vehicle on the platform, $2,000, even a cheap vehicle, it might take you, 4 months. So if you can get a car that lasts you an extra year on the platform, or doesn't cause you as many problems, and it's a little bit more, I recommend new hosts look to if you want to spend a certain amount, maybe $3,000, $4,000. Ask yourself what you could get for $2,000 more. And a lot of times it's going to be a lot more reliable vehicle. It's going to be a better vehicle. It's going to last longer on the platform. So don't underpay for cars trying to get the cheapest possible vehicle. Now look, if you are that strategy works, if you have a lot of time on your hand and you're mechanically inclined, you like doing your own service and fixing and tinker things, that's fine then to try to find a vehicle that maybe needs some work and you want to get it all ready and take care of it. That's on you. But don't buy vehicles that are going to be problems just because they're the cheapest ones out there. Okay? Number 7. Major mistake that a lot of hosts makes is they don't evaluate the market before purchasing a vehicle. And the first thing you should do if you're getting ready to buy a vehicle is evaluating your market and finding out, is this the type of vehicle that's going to rent well in my market? Every market's different. And if you live in Florida, or you live in Hawaii, or you live in Colorado, or you live in the East Coast, or you live in the Midwest, your market's going to be a little bit different, and things that rent really well in your market are going to be different than another market. And so you got to have to evaluate your market. And the best tip that I can give you is find a vehicle on your market that's already renting well, but that there's not a lot of other ones on there. And if you find a vehicle that's got a lot of rentals, it's a newer vehicle and has a lot of rentals, or an older vehicle that has a lot of rentals, but there's not a lot of other vehicles like that, that could be a great vehicle to purchase. So evaluate your market. Bill Huffine has some great tools on this. Doing a market analysis, you paying, if you're going to invest in this business, paying him a little bit of money to do a full market analysis and really give you his top vehicles recommended for your area is a valuable resource if you're not super in tune to the market like I am. So number 8, a big mistake new hosts make is they spend their profit before paying down the loan or budgeting for repairs. Look, it's easy to see that purple bar on your graph and how much profit you're making, how much money you're making, but we all know that's not profit. And well, if you don't know, you'll learn really quickly. That's not profit, and that's gross revenue, and that's great, and it feels good, and every time that the ching comes through, that's a good feeling. But before you spend that profit, all that money you've made, make sure if you have loans on the car, you start paying those loans down. You're paying those loans down first. A lot of my loans, I'll do 72-month loans if I have to. I'll do even an 84-month loan if I can get the rate low enough. But that does not mean I'm going to try to pay off that vehicle in that time. Any of the loans that I have on vehicles, I want to pay off at minimum of 36 months, maximum 48 months. My goal is to get those vehicles paid down as quickly as possible and to have equity in those vehicles that I can cash out whenever I need. And that's one of the beauties of the business. So number 9, they don't start with good documentation. They don't track their profit and loss, their P&L. They don't have a monthly P&L checkup or a quarterly P&L checkup. And look, this is not the fun part of the business. This is not what I like to do. I'm not a numbers guy where I'm not a Excel spreadsheet type guy. But if you're going to do this business long term, you have to know if you're really making money or if you're losing money in the long term. And a lot of times when you can't count in, we can't calculate your depreciation and your maintenance and your car washes and all that stuff, you may think you're making money, but you're really, just treading water, and you're putting a lot of effort and work into something, and you're not really making a profit. So it's important to keep track of your numbers and know the difference between true profit and gross profit, and your profit and loss, keeping track of that is important. Number 10, they don't continually educate themselves and grow as a host. And it's easy, you get 5 or 6 or 10 rentals and you think, wow, this is great, this is easy, and why isn't everybody doing this? And that's because you haven't had some of the challenge like a car not show up or a damage or somebody take parts off your car or replace it. So you haven't had a lot of the different experiences that people have. You have to be continually growing yourself and educating yourself. And there's so many tools to do this. A lot of the Facebook groups are great. There's numerous Facebook groups. Find several of the groups on Facebook and join those, because you can learn a lot from other hosts from those. And YouTube is a big asset. Audrey Janik has got some great videos. There's a lot of good content creators that are putting content out for YouTube. I know one. There's also reading up on the rental business is important. Start following the news when it comes to the rental automotive business. Find out what Hertz and Enterprise and those people are doing. Knowing the automotive business, learning about the trends and the new vehicles coming out and so forth. That's a huge part of my business, and it's important to start learning that stuff. Number 11, and lastly, this is just my pet peeve, I guess, but the number 11 mistake that many new hosts make is they try to coordinate airport delivery. And fortunately, most of you will only do this a couple times, but you cannot coordinate people's airport time when they're coming in and out. I know some people will say, you can find out their flight, and then you can start tracking their flight to make sure you have the vehicle in there. Okay, you can do that. But if you're trying to coordinate, like literally picking up the customer curbside, and it's great from a customer service standpoint, but it is a nightmare to try to coordinate. And more importantly, it's virtually impossible to scale. And once you have several vehicles, what happens when you have two guests coming in at the same time? What happens when you have, when a guest doesn't know how long it takes to get there, to get to your vehicle and so forth? There's just so many problems. What happens when you're coming in and to pick up your host and traffic is backed up all the way around, and your host is sitting on the curb for 30 minutes waiting for you to get there to pick them up so you can give them that great customer service. So if you do airport delivery, and I don't enjoy it, but it's kind of a necessity if you're in a big city to have airport delivery, you have to have a process that is easy, that is simple, that is consistent, and something you can scale. I recommend getting the vehicle there way early, 2, 3, 4 hours early, sometimes early in the morning or the night before, to where the car's already there and you can remotely check in the guests whenever if they get delayed, no big deal. A lot of times, a lot of the airports will have a daily rate where you're going to pay, one cost for the entire day, and it really doesn't affect if it's there 1 hour or 6 hours. So, but you have to learn your airport and find out. The idea of having great customer service and trying to coordinate the exact times on airport delivery, it can be a problem, and hopefully some of you have learned that from now. So that's my take, guys. That's my 11 mistakes that new hosts make. What did I miss? And what am I on there? What major mistake that new hosts make or that you've made that I don't have on there? And put it in the comments, and I'd like to hear about it, or hear if this is helpful to you. So once again, until next time, thanks for tuning in, and I'm out.